There we go. I think we're live.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody. Hi, Dr. Nick. I can hear something coming back.
That's
the TV, is it?
Carlos, you sound like you've
I'll
gone
just
quiet
mute the
again.
telly.
Okay, very good.
But it's still coming through. Oh, I know why. Oh, God, sorry. Right, there we go. That's not going to happen anymore.
Okay.
It wasn't the telly. It was
was the
because I've got the
monitor,
chat room
yeah.
open.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'm with you. Okay. How are we doing for time? I suppose oh, God. Where are we? Where are we at? Oh, God, I should have started already. Sorry, we're running late. Don't tell Nev. There we go. Are we all set? Because the clock is running.
Yarp.
We are 15 seconds behind schedule. Yeah, I know, but Nev will be in touch.
What number's the Jet 2 story on, Nick? Just quickly.
Here we go.
7, is it? It's not really.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
Well, hello and welcome to episode 526 of the Plain Talking UK podcast. My name is Carlos, and in this week's show, we have Mach 4 aircraft from China. The A321XLR takes to the skies with Iberia. Apple lets you find your lost luggage more easily because all the best tech comes from Apple. And we take a look at bird strikes in Canada. In the military, Nick, honestly. In the military news this week, we examine the reason behind the fatal Osprey crashes, as well as an expensive soap dispenser on a C-17. So joining me this week live from the new Master Studio, well, actually, he's in the original Master Suite Studio. It's the irreplaceable, indispensable, and occasionally incandescent...
Hang on.
Matt Smith.
Hang on. Hang on. I'm going to have to Google that. At this stage, it is unclear to me whether that was a compliment or an insult. I haven't quite decided.
Oh, my word.
Lovely. Yes, okay. I'll be Googling that then while we're reading some stories.
I thought that was something to do with setting fire to you, but...
Incandescent. No, you're thinking of incendiary.
Oh, okay.
Anyway... I've just listened to the link that Nick sent us. I'm glad I have my headphones on. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, really?
Anyway, yes. Sorry, I digress slightly. Hello.
Well, hello back. And I have to say that this week, we've still got the background music going on my lugs.
Yes, I'm aware of that.
I have to say this week, a big thanks to our very own Matt Smith, because at the moment I'm talking to you in my brand new studio. You
need to pull your camera down a bit, by the way.
Pull the camera down a little bit, do I? Okay, there we go.
Yeah, there we go. Just a minor on-air production.
There we go. There we go. Is that better?
I can see Andy rolling his eyes already.
Yes, Matt has spent about 3,000 hours in the last week in here, wiring things up, poking wires in.
I did no such wiring.
Places.
It was. Excuse me. As I say, I'm you were the one on your hands and knees, mate, not me.
I know, and I paid the price for it.
I bet you have. Yeah, I bet you have. Yeah.
I have had various bruises in places where they should be bruises.
Yeah.
But anyway, no, it's been good. I'm here. It's warm and it's cosy and. Well, you had your evening meal in here last night.
I did, yes. I had cheese on toast there. It was very nice while setting up some radio stuff. But, really nice. Yeah, just need to get you some dampener tiles, I think, just to give a little bit of reverberation. But other than that, looking and sounding fabulous.
Oh, I know. Lovely. But also, back from his travels, our follically fortunate friend of the skies, it's Captain Andy.
Is that a nice way of saying I've got a nice beard, Nick? A thumbs up from Nick there. Hello.
I think it was more. I think it was more that we're slightly jealous of the hairline. I think I don't know.
Yes, you can't see the back of the hair though. That's the difference.
Oh no! Have you got one of those spots at the back then, Andy?
It's not massive. It's just thinning a bit on top. Just a bit of age, really.
Yes, absolutely.
So
that's what we call it: a solar panel and also experience, Andy. That's what that is.
Yes, I could say something far more offensive about the solar panel, but I won't.
No.
Family show.
Family show, ladies and gentlemen.
No, not
family
until
show.
the end.
Carlos has already lost control of the show. Brilliant.
So how's things been, Andy? You've been away for a little while, but
Good. Yes,
you've been flying though, haven't you?
yes, I went flying. So the last time I was on the show, the week after, I went flying. Yes, which was very nice. If the aircraft had behaved, the passengers had behaved, and the cabin crew had behaved, it would have been a lovely day out.
Oh dear.
Oh no!
It was all fine.
I mean, you appear to have mentioned all the things that could have possibly gone wrong there.
Yes, every single variable, and air traffic control. The weather was all right though,
Right.
So
Okay.
that wasn't too bad.
Thank heavens
but
for
it was
some
nice
mercies.
Yeah, but it was nice to go flying again. Then I went on holiday, had a nice holiday, and now I'm back this week. And then this time next week, I should be on, but I'll be back in a hotel somewhere else. So I'll be around for a couple of weeks at least. But it's nice to be back.
Good to have you back as well, Andy. So how was the flying?
Yeah, like I say, it was lovely. Apart from air traffic control delays, tech problems, passenger problems.
Yeah.
A standard day
was
out
that age
flying.
related for the aircraft?
Well, I wouldn't say it was age related. It was just a weird issue with one of the systems that we had to get sorted.
Is it one of those times when you look at the registration of the aircraft and you think, oh no, not Golf?
No. There's not very many of them about, to be honest, that I've ever gone, oh, I don't want to see that reg again. They're all looked after very well.
Good. Well, it's nice to have you back, Andy, and it's good to hear that you're back in the skies again, because we miss the nice photographs that we used to get every now and again from you with, the glorious views that you have from your front office there.
Yes, unfortunately, I send you mainly photos from the sim these days, don't I?
Yeah,
Which I prefer.
well, they still look as good. They still look as good, to be fair. And we're all still blooming jealous anyway that you get to go in the sim as frequently as you do.
So this is the thing, though, is it's like you say that, like, being in the sim is an exciting thing. For a pilot, where it's their actual job, it's just like, okay, whatever happens in this weird box that throws itself around a little bit is going to decide whether I get to carry on.
Yes, that's one way to look at it, I suppose.
Did you see I captioned this from was it last week?
Last
Nick?
week, yeah.
Was it last week? Yeah.
Oh, was that the one with the
captioned
sim down on the nose?
Yeah.
I did,
Yeah, this one, in fact. Look at this for organisation on my part. Are you impressed?
That's it, look at that.
Just me, yeah.
I mean,
you ever done that to a simulator?
No, and I'd say it takes quite a bit of skill to be able to make a simulator collapse in that way.
Literally malfunction, yeah.
I think that you're getting graded quite highly for being able to do that.
Or something along those lines. Yeah.
It's not supposed to do that, and thanks for putting that right, Andy. We did wonder. That was a bit of an
I hope everybody
extreme
was
angle.
strapped in.
Blimey. Right, and also joining us this evening, as you may have heard us saying, is obviously our resident writer of all the best intros in the world. It is, of course, Nick Codling.
Hello, Carlos. Well, I've two things to say this evening. The first one is I managed to sneak in a bit into the intro there where you paid Apple products a compliment and you actually read it. So,
I'm still slightly shocked, I'm not going to lie.
I got Ron Burgundy syndrome.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, let's not
So
get
we
any
had-
ideas.
So for Matt, we had irreplaceable, indispensable, and occasionally incandescent. But in the chat room, we have incorrigible, incontinent,
Oh, how very rude.
incapable,
Yeah, all of those. Yeah. Well,
irresistible,
okay. No. Oh, hello.
and inconceivable.
Oh.
I'd also like to point out that several of those came from Dirk S, whose first language is not English.
No, absolutely. It's
some of them are
putting
quite
us all
big
to shame. Careful. Yes, indeed. I'm going to say thank you.
Yeah. Apart from the incontinent one.
Well, I am of a certain age. Let's be honest.
It comes to us all.
It comes to us all. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I was just a couple of years away from my tenor man. There we go.
Oh, blimey.
Anyway, we seem to be slightly off topic.
That's not like us at all.
No, indeed.
Right, so we've got to say hello to everyone who's joined us in the YouTube chat room this evening. Going to scroll up to the top of the list, make sure I don't miss anyone. Richard Adams, hello to you. First off in the room there this week. Hello to you.
Oh, I'm fine. I need to talk to Richard Adams.
Well, you can't because he's on the chat.
Oh, right, okay, all right, fair enough.
Mizzou. Hello, Mizzous. Our local listener, Mizzous. Evening to you as well. Alan White. Hello to you, Alan. Our good friend over in Ireland there. Hello to you. Nick Codling's keeping an eye on things in there as well. Richard E. Flagg. Hello to you, Richard. More great pictures on the site again, Richard, I noticed the other day. Very good indeed. Dirk S. Wouldn't be the chat room without Dirk in the chat room each week. Good to see you. And Hobby Time as well. Masha's in there. Good evening, everyone. She says, hello, Masha. Hope you're well. Captain Cruz was the one who came up with the incontinent. Don't have a go at him, Matt. Who else have we got? Richard, I don't miss anyone. And everyone else who's joined us in the live chat room this evening. Good to see you all in there. Don't forget, if you're listening to us as a audio show, we are live on a Wednesday at 7 o'clock here on YouTube. So you do come and join us and join in with our YouTube chat room family, because they do have a lot of fun in there, don't they, guys? It's definitely...
Sure.
Everyone there? Hello?
Yeah, no,
Hello.
we're all still here. I've got a slightly odd fault with Zoom, so just carry on, everybody.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, blimey, that's a bit worrying.
Yeah.
Are we all right to continue?
Yeah. No, audio and everything's all fine. It's just for some reason, I think we've obviously had another update from the platform.
Not another update from Zoom.
That sort of repositioned all of the videos and stuff.
yeah.
So hopefully, okay.
Right, so we've got loads to get through in the show tonight. We haven't got a caption this week because basically I was so blooming busy the weekend, I didn't get a chance to scrab and find a picture to put on this week, but they'll be back next week. But we have got our retro airline ad of the week this week, which is quite an amusing video to come up later on the show.
I'm already scared.
Matt's not seen this one yet because I only dumped it in there about 20 minutes ago. So if all the team are ready,
I think so. Let's do it.
The captain has turned on the seatbelt light. Please take your seats and fasten your seatbelts.
So the first one comes to us from 1mileatatime.com, and Iberia Airbus A321XLR, a new era for long-haul travel. The world's first A321XLR has been delivered and marks a major milestone for long-haul narrow-body travel. In June 2019, Airbus formally launched the A321XLR, which is the world's longest-range narrow-body jet. The aircraft is based on the A321 family of aircraft, but features even more incremental range improvements over the A321neo and the 321LR, which already have more range than the 321ceo. Airlines have ordered hundreds of these jets, and they look for long-range, low-capacity jets that can open up all kinds of markets. The launch customer for the plane is International Airlines Group, IAG, which is the parent company of BA, Iberia, Aer Lingus, etc. The company have ordered 14 of these jets, with 8 intended for Iberia and 6 intended for Aer Lingus. Here's what Iberia CEO Marco Savani had to say about the new aircraft. So he said, "We are very proud to be the launch airline for the new Airbus aircraft. The A321XLR will allow us to reach new destinations operating transoceanic routes and doing so in a more efficient way." Meanwhile, here's what Airbus commercial aircraft CEO Christian Schreier had to say about the development. He said, 5 years in the making, the newest member of the Airbus family is all set to join its first operator, Iberia. The A321XLR will enable countless new non-stop destinations. It truly opens a new chapter in air connectivity. It's another proud first for all of us at Airbus in our constant quest to innovate and bring value to our customers. We are pleased to share this special moment with a special customer. And he says, Gracias, felicidades, Iberia. That must mean, I was about to say Feliz Navidad then.
Similar.
The airline will first briefly fly the jet around Europe for crew training and familiarisation and to work out any kinks. The inaugural flight is expected to be on November the 5th, which was yesterday, actually, hopefully, between Madrid and Paris Charles de Gaulle. The aircraft is expected to then make its long-haul debut in the coming weeks and months. As of November the 14th, Iberia will fly the XLR between Madrid and Boston. And as of the 15th of January next year, Iberia will fly the XLR between Madrid and Washington. What should passengers expect on board Iberia's 321 XLR? The aircraft is equipped with 182 seats spread across 2 cabins, including 14 business class seats and 168 economy class seats. There's no premium economy cabin. It seems that most airlines acquiring the XLRs do plan to install premium economy, which is often considered to be the most profitable cabin in terms of space allocation. The aircraft features 14 business class seats spread across 7 rows in a 1-1 configuration. And Iberia selected the Thomson Vero Vantage Solo seat, the same seat you'll find in the new JetBlue Mint. And I have to say, they are very nice indeed. These are herringbone seats that are fully lie flat, have direct aisle access with 18-inch 4K Matt, 4K TV screens. There's also great tech, including Bluetooth audio. And even in economy, there's also Bluetooth audio, as well as USB-A and C charging ports. Furthermore, there are personal electronic device holders, as well as Wi-Fi connectivity throughout the jet. Now, I have to say, Andy, I'm surprised you've not sort of like wanted to have a go, have a try of the XLR, but I should imagine it's very similar to the 320, 321 family anyway.
Yep, I've flown the 321, and this will be exactly the same, just it goes further. That's basically it. It's got more fuel tanks, so it can fly further.
So the flight deck stays the same then? So it's just the figures, the calculations that are different for...
Yeah, I was going to say, presumably your takeoff calculations will be a bit different if you've got a bit more fuel on board.
Yeah, it'll be certified to a higher takeoff weight and probably a higher landing weight as well. So calculations will be different. Takeoff will probably be a bit longer, but apart from that, nothing different really.
Yeah, we've got Alan White in the chat room says that Aer Lingus apparently were marked to be the launch customer, but when the pilots threatened to strike for better pay, the XLRs were sent to Iberia.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, they're all part of the same group, so they're all owned by IAG, so that IAG own Aer Lingus, Iberia and British Airways. And I think because the pilots were all having a bit of an industrial dispute, they said, stuff you, we'll give them to another airline. So they shot themselves in the foot a little bit there.
Do you think possibly in the future, Andy, that the airline that you fly for would possibly get the XLR, or would that not be something that they would probably look for?
I don't know about the XLR. The LR probably. I believe you can buy the 321 family now with all the plumbing in place for the extra fuel tanks, but not have the fuel tanks fitted so that it remains certified just as a standard 321 until you want to upgrade it. So it's less work then. Yeah, so I think that is an option that you can actually do if you then in the future want to put the extra tanks in.
I'll tell you what, Matt, the tech sounds good in there with the 4K screens and the Bluetooth.
Although I don't quite get the whole excitement about the Bluetooth thing. I assume that's so that you can use your own Bluetooth headphones with the IFE essentially. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's quite cool. That would be quite cool because I'm a bit funny about my headphones, and I've got a Sony pair that I use quite a lot. So that would be nice to sort of, as you say, use your own headphone, and again the ability to charge it up if you need to and things like that.
There must be a lot of frequencies, Matt, Bluetooth frequencies for every person, because each seat is going to have its own Bluetooth frequency to connect to your headphones.
Well, one of the advantages about the way that Bluetooth works over a lot of other networks is that it is a point-to-point sort of with an encrypted ID that's buried into the Bluetooth signal, so you don't get the bleed-through issue that you were doing. It's not like all the headphones are trying to join the same network. They are literally doing, so each Bluetooth device has its own, like, I don't know. Well, it's actually a MAC address, but it's so it sounds like quite a lot. I mean, I don't know in terms of. I assume. I mean, obviously, it will have been tested, I'm sure, but it won't have. One of the things is you're supposed to be in sort of flight mode, aren't you, when you're in the aircraft and stuff? And I assume, as a result, that Bluetooth is not one of the potential like frequency concerns that your phone would put out, which is why flight mode is encouraged.
And I think most people use Bluetooth headphones to their own device anyway at the moment, so this makes no difference really.
Yeah, true that. Yeah, very true.
Right, Andy.
Yes.
You also love your tech stuff. I'm guessing you've probably got one of these yourself already.
Do you know what? I don't, and I should really get some. This is from TheVerge.com. And it's Apple will be introducing a new feature to its Find My app that allows you to temporarily share the location of a lost AirTag with an airline or trusted person, according to Mac Rumors, which is testing the second developer beta release of iOS 18.2. The feature could make it easier for airport staff to locate a missing piece of luggage if Find My indicates it's nearby. In iOS 18.2, the Find My app now has a share item location option that creates a link that can be sent to anyone, not just your trusted contacts. On Apple devices, the link will open the Find My app, allowing someone else to see the location of the air-tagged item. On non-Apple devices, the link will instead open with a web page that includes a map showing the item's last known location. The link automatically expires after a week or when your missing item has been returned to you. You can also see how many people have visited the link you created, while an additional Show Contact Info option lets you share your phone number and email address so that the person who finds your missing item can contact you. Apple introduced the option to continually share the location of an AirTag with up to 5 additional people in September 2023, so that an entire family can keep tabs on the location of pets, vehicles, or other shared items. This latest feature expands that functionality, letting you temporarily enlist more people to help you find something, without requiring you to remember to later revoke their access to the AirTag's location. Well, there we go. That can only be a good thing.
No, Nev has used these, hasn't he? He's with
this is how he keeps a close eye on his luggage, isn't it?
Yeah.
Maybe we need to get Nev to test it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are these expensive, Matt, to buy? These AirTags?
I mean, yes and no. I mean, it's a product that's it's a product that's made by Apple, so it does come with a premium price, shall we say? They're cheap enough, if you like. I still don't quite 100% understand how they work, because I know they I think they rely on other iPhones being nearby in order to report the tag's location and then
yes, that's correct,
share it on with other people. So it's one of those tricky things that you're relying on essentially somebody who's working in baggaging to be able to afford an iPhone and have one in their pocket.
If you want to pack of 4, they're £119 for 4.
Before.
It's not too
about
bad,
30
really.
each, aren't they?
Bad.
Yeah, that's not too bad. And the battery life and everything is all pretty astounding.
Yeah, I think they last about 3 years. I've got one that I've got one I keep on my motorbike, and I've had it on there about 18 months now, and it's still going strong. So
yeah. You won't find AirTags down the middle aisle in Lidl, that's for sure. Very good point, Alan. More's the pity. I have to say.
That.
Quite.
Honestly, I'll keep my eyes open just in case. You never know.
What
It'll
are, you,
be-
what are you going to do with it? Your wife has an iPhone. That's not going to be any...
She does. She does. She loves it. She absolutely loves it.
Lovely. So you'll
and
be
my
relying
work
on-
phone's an iPhone.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, okay. Oh, yes, that's true. Yes. He never uses
And I still
it.
hate it.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
never.
yeah.
It sits on the desk, plugged
Yeah,
in at work. I
right.
never use it.
No, indeed.
Anyway,
Never mind.
Matt, you've got the next story, and I have to say, Mach 4. When I saw this, I thought, they bring out a new shaver for men, but.
Oh, okay. Hang on. Sorry, that's all right. I was panicking there. I couldn't get the story to come up, but we are cooking with gas. EurasianTimes.com is the source one, and it's the headline is 2 times faster than Anglo-French Concorde. China claims testing Mach 4 supersonic passenger jet prototype. 2 decades after the iconic Concorde was retired, a Chinese aircraft designed to travel twice as fast as the Anglo-French plane has successfully completed its test flight. The Beijing-based company Space Transportation announced on the 27th of October that its prototype, capable of reaching speeds of Mach 4, twice the speed of the Anglo-French Concorde, completed a successful test flight on October the 26th, according to Chinese media. The company said that the advanced aerospace design is tailored for high-speed, efficient travel, designed for vertical takeoff and landing. What? Okay. The jet aims... So it's essentially like a Harrier, is it? Is that what it does? The jet aims to reach altitudes exceeding 20,000 metres or 65,600 feet. The company claimed that the capability would allow passengers to travel from Beijing to New York in just 2 hours, significantly reducing transcontinental travel times. The company officials further revealed that they plan to test the jet engine's technology in November. These assessments are critical steps towards achieving the 2027 goal of a full-scale, commercially viable supersonic passenger jet. Founded in 2018 in the Sichuan province, the space transportation has expanded rapidly, establishing R&D as manufacturing centres across Beijing and other parts of their country. The company also maintains a test facility in Korla, I can't pronounce that one, Xinjiang, I want to say, with a focus on hypersonic technology. It has developed a broad range of services and products, including suborbital space tourism vehicles and hypersonic flight platforms for global transportation. The space transportation highlights the aircraft's high lift-to-drag ratio, which enables it to maintain efficient performance as it ascends into lower density altitudes. This would not only make flights faster, but also more economical and comfortable. The space transportation envisions a future where a supersonic jet like the Yunjing are using in global commercial flights and accessible space tourism. If successful, the project could pave the way for a new era of commercial aviation, combining revolutionary speed with a broader range of passenger services. The 21st century has witnessed a resurgence of interest in supersonic travel as new players emerge in the field, aiming to build on the Concorde legacy. Among the companies leading the charge in this new era is US-based Boom Supersonic. In recent years, the company has made headlines with its ambitious plans for the Overture, a Concorde-inspired aircraft intended for transatlantic passenger flights by 2029. In July 24, Boom's prototype plane, the XB-1, completed its inaugural flight, marking a significant milestone for the company. Just this week, in their prototype achieved Mach 0.82 in ongoing testing. Nick has added into the notes here. Furthermore, the Federal Aviation Administration, the FAA, has issued Boom its first ever Special Flight Authorization, SFA, permitting the XB-1 to exceed the sound barrier during tests in the Black Mountain Supersonic Corridor. This is an area of airspace north of Edwards AFB over the western end of the Mojave Desert in southwestern California. There we go. Very interesting. Very, very interesting indeed.
I think it's a case of it'd be nice when this happens and when we see this actually,
I think we're nearly there. I think it is happening.
But when we see a passenger actually, seated in seat 1A, that's when we know
Right.
things are...
You mean Nev, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Sure,
yes.
why not? Yeah, indeed. There we go. All
Yeah.
part of the fun.
Will it happen in our time? Well, will we have passenger
Well,
flights?
2029, they think that Boom is going to sort of have a go at it. So,
No, it'll be late.
well, I mean, prototypes and stuff. They have been doing some testing, as Nick's put in the notes here. We're getting there.
Can I say hello to John Jester? Joined us in the chat room. Hello, John. He's where is John this week? Did he say where he is this week? He's normally in some faraway country somewhere.
He's in China.
Oh, he's in China.
Oh, wow,
he's in
okay.
China. Oh, hello, John.
Okay.
Welcome. Captain Cruz has just commented in the chat room. Let me just bring that one up there. There we go. Can you see that one, Matt? on the screen?
Indeed, yeah. He says that Boom prototype at Mojave only has seat 1A and 2A. Okay, right.
Yeah.
Less than ideal.
And just to add something in there as well, that prototype achieved Mach 8.2. That's no faster than the 777 or 747 could fly faster than that. So it's
True.
not particularly good.
Right. Okay. Is that
Not, but
potentially?
they've only been testing for a couple of months, so it is still quite early days for them. And I think it looks like they'll probably be in a position to break the sound barrier probably within. I'd be surprised if they haven't done it by Christmas. Put it that way.
If we see commercial supersonic flight return, I will eat a hat.
Oh, hello. Okay, lovely. Any particular flavour?
Prawn cocktail, please.
Right. Okay. Duly noted.
Prawn cocktail hat.
Right. Okay.
I'll have one of those.
Nice. One of my
Sign
favourite
me up.
flavours.
Yeah. Leave me up. Leave
That
it
or
with me.
smoky bacon.
Would you like any kind of condiments with it, Andy?
Oh, sorry. I know I shouldn't do this because we're talking about food and it's an aviation podcast.
Oh no,
Carlos, are you a fan of a Scotch egg?
Oh my word! Yeah, the ones
Who
from
isn't?
Sue's.
Yeah. So, well, no, exactly. So Sue does these Scotch eggs, which are amazing. Don't get me wrong; they are absolutely out of this world. And rather than breadcrumbs, have a guess what she uses to coat the outside of the Scotch egg instead of breadcrumbs.
I don't know, but I'm salivating.
Frazzles.
Have you? Okay, and I'll add one last bit and I'll leave it.
Here we
Have you
go.
ever had a black? You've had a black pudding Scotch egg.
Oh, yes, please. Oh, yes, please. Yeah, no, ignore Carlos. Pay no attention to the.
Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll tell you what. If you get one of those black pudding eggs and then cover it with frazzles, honestly.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, it
Can
would
we-
just. Yeah.
Can we do a spin-off podcast where
No,
we just chat about
we
food?
should absolutely not do that. Anyway, sorry, that's my fault. I derailed things. I do apologise. Oh dear, never mind. Anyway, where were we? Oh yeah, planes. Yeah.
Carlos, it's over to you.
Yeah,
Carlos
Carlos.
just brought me in my evening meal and put
Okay.
it right off.
Has it not got any black pudding on it then?
No, not at all.
Oh, what a shame.
Anyway, next one, Reuters.com for this one. Spirit Airlines to furlough hundreds of pilots to cut costs. Spirit Airlines will furlough around 330 pilots on January the 31st next year, a company spokesman told Reuters, as part of its efforts to cut costs and shore up finances. The ultra-low-cost carrier has been losing money despite strong travel demand, and it's failed to report a profit in the last 5 out of 6 quarters, raising doubts about its profitability and its ability to manage looming debt maturities. Spirit furloughed 186 pilots last month, will downgrade to 120, it will also downgrade upgrade 120 captains to first officers on January the 31st. Oh, my word, that's awful. The company has been facing an uncertain future after the collapse of its $3.8 billion merger deal with JetBlue Airways. Spirit shares have slumped about 84% this year. The furloughs are a result of Spirit's plans to shrink the airline. The company plans to reduce its capacity in the current quarter by 20% from a year ago. In 2025, it expects capacity to be down to mid-teens year on year. They said, we are implementing a series of cost-saving initiatives throughout the business, they said, including a reduction in the workforce as part of our comprehensive plan to return to profitability, Spirit spokesperson said. Spirit plans to cut costs by $80 million next year, primarily through a reduction in its workforce. It's also selling 23 older Airbus aircraft for $519 million. The sales proceeds are estimated to provide £225 million of liquidity next year. Ryan Muller, the head of Spirit's pilot union, said the airline's plan to operate a smaller fleet has raised concerns about job security for pilots. While the company may emphasise numbers, we understand each figure represents a dedicated pilot, their career and their family's future, said Muller, adding the pilot union was trying to mitigate the furloughs. I have to say, that's awful. And I think if I was a pilot for Spirit Airlines, I would be heading down to, I don't know where you go, Andy, but the airline pilot's job centre to find out what's available elsewhere.
Well, unfortunately, that doesn't exist. You just got to go online and see what you can find.
It's
awful.
Furlough is not uncommon, is it, in certain industries, especially in America, as a way of sort of like controlling workforce and all that kind of thing. Obviously, we used it here during said pandemic and all that kind of thing, although it sort of forms a different thing. But in a time where really, aviation is enjoying a big boom again, this is quite a big concern, isn't it?
Well, Spirit have been losing money for a very long time, and they've desperately needed the merger with JetBlue to survive, which now isn't happening. And of course, their share price has absolutely bombed as well over the past year. So they have to shrink to survive. I don't know in the US market. I know there's a massive overcapacity in cargo, I think, but I don't know about the passenger side. In Europe, we have the complete opposite. We have a big shortage of pilots at the moment because lots of pilots now, as they get further into their career, are going part-time because they just don't need to work as much. And there's a huge backlog in training schools as well. They don't have the capacity. So if they've got the option to come and work in Europe, if they can, then that could be a saving grace for them, really. Otherwise, they're going to have to go and find other work elsewhere, sadly. But like Carlos said, it's awful. This is somebody's livelihood and their families, Yeah. And I wish them all the best.
Indeed. And it's not, as you say, in a time where you think you're going to be fairly secure because, you work for the airlines and it's all...
Not only that, if you're a relatively new pilot, just joining Spirit in the last year or so, if you may have spent a phenomenal amount of money to get to where you are, in a loan to actual, do your license and stuff.
I still believe in the US, though, to fly an aircraft of that size, you need to have 1,500 hours. So they'll have worked elsewhere beforehand as well. But John makes a good point. Now they will start losing more pilots than they want to because the company is on the verge of being in a bad place. So this could make things worse for them as well. It's a very tricky situation.
Yeah, it is.
Well, hopefully they'll find light somewhere at the end of that tunnel. And
hopefully.
Yeah. Now, Andy, the question on everyone's lips when they are sitting in the back of your aircraft is why the flight attendants leave them lights on for landing.
Yes. Well, here we go. I don't know what the source of this is because it's not on here. But as a flight attendant, I'm fully accustomed... I mean, I'm not a flight attendant. I'm reading this, by the way. As a flight attendant, I'm fully accustomed to turning off the cabin lights for takeoff and landing during the hours of darkness. And with the night starting to draw in across the Northern Hemisphere, it seemed like a good time to explain exactly why cabin crew do this. As one Southwest Airlines flight attendant wittily explained, as the day wears on, the makeup wears off, and we look better in dim light. So I've got to dim the lights now. In fact, let's dim the cabin lights even more. Of course, dimming the cabin lights isn't just about making us look a little better after a hard day's work, even if the old-fashioned strip lighting that still graces far too many aeroplanes washes us out even more than a lack of tan does during the long winter months. When it comes to flying, it's probably no surprise that the real reason the cabin lights are dim for takeoff and lighting is all to do with safety. The idea is that by reducing the cabin lighting to something similar to the ambient lighting conditions outside the aircraft, our aeroplanes will acclimatise to the darkness and therefore will all be better prepared to respond should the worst happen and emergency evacuation is required. Think of when you turn the lights off in a room and struggle to see because your eyes haven't adjusted to the darkness. Over time, however, your eyes begin to adjust to the lighting level and you'll be able to see things in the room a little better. The same principle applies when flight attendants dim the cabin lights for takeoff and landing during the hours of darkness. If an evacuation were to be ordered, every second counts and wasting precious time for our eyesight to adjust to the outside darkness simply isn't acceptable. In reverse, the same is true for flights landing during daylight hours when it's best for the cabin lights to be kept on so that our eyes aren't suddenly dazzled by the outside conditions. Interestingly, however, this rule hasn't been universally adopted, and in many countries it's up to the individual airlines to set their rules around cabin lighting conditions for takeoff and landing. In fact, in a response to a consultation by EASA in 2017, Dutch flag carrier KLM said there was no scientific evidence to support the theory that cabin lighting should be adjusted to match the outside conditions. Some airlines choose to turn off pretty much every single light for takeoff and landing during the hours of darkness, save for the no smoking and fasten seatbelt signs, whereas other carriers opt for a dimmed mood lighting. In many cases, it's really up to the individual carrier to choose how they dim the cabin lights, if they choose to do so at all. Then again, this rule is only relevant when airlines requiring passengers to open their This rule is only relevant when airlines require passengers to open their window shades for takeoff and landing. This allows passengers to maintain their situational awareness of what is going on outside and alert the cabin crew should they notice something wrong. When airlines have this rule in place, it's really helpful for passengers to be able to see exactly what is going on by ensuring their eyesight is acclimatised to the outside lighting conditions. And this is something that puzzles me as well. In some parts of the world, there is no requirement to have the window shades open on takeoff and landing. I think in America you don't have to. Okay. It's always baffled me because if you have an emergency situation where emergency services need to cut into the side of the aircraft, how do they know there's nobody on the other side of that window if it's closed and they're sticking big cutting equipment through the side to chop it open? They could hurt somebody. Crazy.
A little comment from Dirk there in the chat room, Matt.
Maybe adding...
maybe add some flickering orange lights.
To the
more accustomed to a burning engine.
Yes, absolutely. Sort of like bookended with, just in case.
And the source for that previous one was from Paddle Your Own Canoe.
Ah, we love that. We do. It's our favourite. Indeed.
I do like the new sky interior they had in the latest next generation Boeing 737s. It's got that awesome lighting that goes through the cabin. You probably got on the Airbus as well, Andy, on the newer Airbuses.
I think so. I've got to be honest, I don't pay much attention to the lighting in the cabin.
He goes left when he goes through the door.
One thing I will add, talking about lighting, up front, it's quite a similar thing as well. Some people like to have the dome light on dim. I personally prefer all the big lights off, everything turned down, none of the floodlights on, just the panel backlighting. It's much nicer.
Yeah, because you can adjust the brightness level of the panel lighting, can't you, as well, Andy?
You can adjust absolutely every part of lighting, the screen lighting, the panel, the floodlighting, everything. Backlighting on the FCU as well, you can adjust all that.
Nice.
Matt, you've got the next one, and we haven't had one of these for a while on the show. But
no, indeed, jalopnik.com.
Pardon?
Did you get that from? Is the source on this one. With the headline, Captain of Flair Airlines 737 injured as bird strike shatters cockpit window. Now, I actually remember seeing this. I think it made the BBC news here as well. Details have emerged of an incident involving a Flair Airlines flight in Canada on the 24th of October 2024. The captain of the Boeing 737 MAX 8 although we can't blame Boeing for this one, I don't think. Aircraft sustained minor injuries following a bird strike immediately after takeoff from Toronto, which resulted in a shattered portside front windscreen panel. Flair Airlines flight F8641 was departing on a routine scheduled flight from Toronto Pearson International Airport, heading to Winnipeg Richardson International Airport. The aircraft was cleared for takeoff from Toronto's runway 33 left at 13:43 local time for the 2-hour and 15-minute flight to Winnipeg. Following departure, the aircraft climbed to the northwest over the suburb of Brampton. However, at around 3 minutes after takeoff, with the aircraft passing an altitude of around about 1,220 metres or 4,000 feet, the aircraft impacted a flock of Canadian geese. The captain's windscreen panel was shattered by the impact, with the upper outboard section suffering a full impact puncture. Fragments of the windscreen entered the cockpit, causing minor injuries to the captain in the left-hand flight deck seat. Following the bird strike, the flight crew transmitted a pan-pan emergency distress call and requested an immediate precautionary return to Toronto Pearson. The plane performed a single left-hand downwind circuit of the airfield and made a safe landing without further incident back on runways 33L at 14:11, around 28 minutes after takeoff. According to a report published by Aviation Herald, assistance from ground crews were required to tow the aircraft to the gate due to the reduced forward visibility as a result of the damaged windscreen. A subsequent report issued by Canada's Transportation Safety Board confirmed that at least one bird had impacted the windscreen, causing damage. The TSB further added that the captain of the flight Foxtrot 8641 had sustained minor injuries as a result of the shattered glass. The aircraft involved in the incident was a Boeing 737 MAX 8 registered as Kilo Foxtrot Lima Kilo Oscar. Charlie, sorry, I've said it wrong. I was doing so well. Charlie Foxtrot Lima Kilo Oscar. According to CH Aviation, this aircraft is 5.4 years old, having first been delivered to Flair Airlines in August 2022. The plane is owned by Sky Leasing and is leased through Flair's parent company, 777 Partners. It is configured to carry 189 passengers in an all-economy class layout. According to reports, the aircraft remains grounded at Toronto Pearson Airport over a week after the incident, and its current status is described by CH Aviation as stored at the time of writing. So there we go. Bird strikes, Andy. Have you ever experienced one?
Oh, many.
Really?
I've had plenty hit the windscreen, but obviously not a goose. I mean, a goose is going to destroy the windscreen. It's just not designed to handle that. When they hit, they make a very large thud. They're normally followed by a smear of red everywhere. Yeah. And you find out that adrenaline is brown at that point as well, because it doesn't half scare you. The most impressive bird strike I ever had was a single bird impacted just alongside my left leg and then left a huge dint and also managed to dent the leading edge as it bounced off as well.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that was quite a mess, and that took quite some time to sort out on the ground in, I think it was in Barcelona I was flying to. It was at night as well. I wasn't expecting a bird on approach at night. You don't normally see them flying.
No, quite rare, yeah.
Yeah. And unfortunately, this isn't something we can train for in the sim. We can do a bird strike, as in the engine's been hit, but it doesn't really work because you need something to actually impact the window, really.
Right, yeah.
And the windows in the sim are just flimsy bits of plastic. They're not the real windows. Yeah.
They could simulate it.
I was just wondering. Sorry, Carlos, go on.
I said they could simulate it if they could do a realistic simulation.
Throw something at the.
Throw something at the.
Yeah, I was just wondering whether they might do something like they literally would just grey out the windscreen, and then obviously because that reduces your visibility, you're then having to kind of cope with having to fly with reduced visibility. But
if you want to do that, you can do volcanic ash in the sim. and that scratches all the windscreens, so all the visuals are awful.
Right.
So that works.
I mean, I
as
suppose
well.
it depends on how you're going to be assessing a pilot in the sim as to whether or not you're assessing the pilots as a pair or whether you're assessing them. Because if you're assessing somebody, for example, in the left seat, and that happens to be the one that gets hit, and it therefore sort of transfers the flying of the aircraft over to the right seat, whether or not that would kind of work in a simulator environment.
Well, in recurrent training, we always assess as a crew.
Okay.
So I'd expect them to hand over control at that point.
Yeah.
First officers obviously are more than capable of flying the aircraft. In fact, they probably fly it better than most captains. But yeah, it all because as well in the modern world of training, we don't train for events anymore. So it's not like, right, we're doing a bird strike or we're doing this, we're doing that. We train for competencies, more competency based now. So there's several events you could use to train a certain competency. So yeah, we wouldn't do anything specific. And again, it wouldn't work out realistically in the simulator, so we'd just avoid it. We don't want to avoid negative training at all costs.
Okay, fair. Yes.
I can feel another sim session being written in Andy's head already. Giving him ideas now. Remember, we'll copyright those ideas, by the way. Nick, put a mark on that. Right, next up is something that popped up in an actual, what should we say, a show that I watch on YouTube over the Airliners Live guys over at Manchester. Now, we covered a story a few weeks back about Jet2 retiring their 757 fleet. And yesterday saw the retirement of another one of their fleet. They've got a few more left to go. They retired today Golf Lima Sierra Alpha Juliet. Now, yesterday I managed to catch the retirement of Golf Lima Sierra Alpha Charlie that was flown out of Manchester and went over to St Athan over in Wales, Cardiff sort of area to be scrapped and parted out. The aircraft that was scrapped yesterday, Alpha Charlie, 32, just over 32-year-old 757. That was line number 471. Started off its life back in 2006. 1992. 1992 with Air Transat over in Canada. Then moved over to Ryan International Airlines, not to be confused with Ryanair, over in 2003. And then it moved into Jet2's fleet in 2006 as registration Golf Lima Sierra Alpha Charlie with Jet2. It was given the name Lanzarote and had the respective paint job that Jet2s tended to paint their aircraft in. The Matt, I don't know whether you managed to get those pictures that I put into the drive. I managed to catch the said aircraft when it left Manchester through watching the stream with the Airliners Live guys, and obviously had the Flight Radar 24 app tracking the aircraft. I don't know whether you got those screen grabs, Matt.
No, is the short answer.
In the NAS drive? No, it should be in folder C7. But anyway, so I tracked the aircraft all the way across to St Athan. A very short flight, didn't get very high. I think went up to about 17,000 feet on its flight from Manchester down to St Athan. There we go. For those of you watching YouTube, that was its line-up on the runway at Manchester there. And there are the various shots there from Flight Radar 24, thanks to the guys over there as well, and the Airliners Live guys. And there is the track there that it took. For the benefit of you, Andy, you can probably see that as well on your screen, that it took from Manchester down to St Athan for its final flight there after 32, just over 32 years of service, powered by the RB211s. And I have to say, Andy, this aircraft, when it took off from Manchester yesterday, it obviously only had a flight crew on, no passengers, and I think I counted it was less than I think 25 seconds before the aircraft lifted off from the runway.
Yep, it's got a huge wing, light as a feather, off it goes. It'll have been on a huge D-rate as well on the engines.
Didn't take long to get off. And I'd imagine that this aircraft will obviously have the engines took off and sold because they are worth quite a lot of money to other users of the RB211s. And also, there might be some bits behind me here on the wall at some point in the not distant future. Anyway,
it started.
I know.
He's now in his new space. It started.
I know, but no, it's sad to see, and I'll tell you what, it was. I don't know if you saw on that screen grab from FR24, Matt, the top left-hand side. Yesterday, that flight was the #1 most tracked aircraft on the Flight Radar 24 platform across the globe. The most tracked aircraft, which is quite an achievement, I will say. So, yeah, I think they've got a few more of these left to go in the fleet. And then they are moving over to Andy's side of the books onto the A321, Andy. They've just took delivery of some brand new ones.
Yeah. Jet2 are going to have quite a large fleet of 21s to replace the 75s.
Yeah. Sad times, though. Sad times.
No.
Anyway, Matt, moving on to the next one. Now, Matt, you're off to Dubai very soon. Very, very soon indeed. Now, Matt, I'd imagine that if you were travelling with this particular airline, this would be the way you would probably want to be travelling.
Right, okay. I'm confused. Oh, yes, I see. Yes, CNBC is the source for this one, and the headline is Singapore Airlines will add first-class revamped cabins for their longest flights. Singapore Airlines plans to add a 4-seat first class to its Airbus A350-900 ultra-long-range aircraft that are used on routes like the more than 18-hour flight between New York and Singapore. The carrier also plans to grow its business class cabin on those aircraft and retrofit other long-range Airbus A350s with new seats. Some large airlines have done away with international first class in favour of larger business class cabins. The Singapore Airlines is planning to add a 4-seat first class Airbus aircraft Singapore Airlines is planning to add a 4-seat first class to Airbus aircraft it uses for its longest routes, a bet to attract high spending travellers to flights that can top 17 hours. The carrier will add the new seats to 7 Airbus A350-900 URLs, or ultra long range aircraft that it uses for lengthy trips, including its longest between New York and Singapore. It'll also revamp its cabins on long haul Airbus planes with new business class seats that will likely include a suite with a sliding door, a popular design carriers are increasingly adopting to sell privacy as an onboard perk. Singapore said that the fresh first and business class seats will have new in-flight entertainment, but the carrier didn't disclose many details about the new cabins. CEO Gok Chun Pong said in a news release that they will push the boundaries of comfort, luxury, and modern something or other. Can't even pronounce that one. We've got airlines have been investing billions of dollars to revamp their premium cabins to chase travellers willing to shell out for more space on board. They range from international airlines like Singapore's jumbo jets to smaller carriers like JetBlue Airways that fly smaller Airbus planes, both of which feature suites with sliding doors. Singapore's retrofit plans also include new cabins for 34 long-range Airbus A350s, part of a £1.1 billion Singapore dollars, that's around $835 million overhaul it plans to start putting into service in the mid-2026. Those will also have 42 business class seats, 24 premium economy seats, seats and 192 in standard economy, up from the 187 economy seats it currently lists as the aircraft's configuration. The ultra-long-range airplanes now have only business class and premium economy cabins after the new cabin design with first class is installed. Total business class seats will go up to 70 from 67, with the airline being able to offer 58 premium economy seats from the 94 currently offered, according to the carrier's website. I'm going to stop reading the story there because I'll be honest with you, it's been a bit of a struggle. Yeah, they are
nice, but unless you've got the money to try these seats, and I've looked myself at how much these cost, to travel in this kind of class, and the prices are phenomenal, Matt. You're talking, single fares across to the US and that for £7,000 or £8,000. That's just one way. That's not return.
Yeah, it's a lot of money, isn't it?
It's a lot of money. Yeah, and some of them are even more than that. I think it's Emirates. If you travel in business class with Emirates, I think that is in and around kind of between £7,000 or £8,000.
Oh, depends where you're going. More than that.
But, yeah.
I was looking at upgrading my flights the Grand Prix weekend on Emirates, and I think for 4 of us return they wanted £13,000 for us to upgrade.
My goodness, blimey!
Yes, a few quid.
Wow, it's phenomenal.
Yeah,
the best way is to blag it.
Yeah, not really something Emirates do though.
No, I've never blagged an upgrade with Emirates.
To be fair, they do very much have that opinion. It's like, well, why do we need to put you in business class if you haven't paid for it? And in many ways, I applaud that. In many ways, but
American were very accommodating to me last year.
Were they?
Yes.
Oh.
Very accommodating.
Okay.
Yeah, when I booked a premium seat with American, and they bumped me up into business class, which is nice.
Lucky you.
Well, if you don't ask. What my granddad always said, if you don't ask, you won't get. Yeah, it's always worth a little try. You never know.
Sure.
Yes, but anyway, it's a class I'd love to try, and the one I think that everyone would love to try is the Residence. Is it Etihad? The Residence?
Yeah.
That is. Matt, if you've not seen that, the Residence with Etihad is like having your own actual hotel room.
We've covered it several times on the show, haven't we?
It's incredible,
absolutely
incredible
stuff. Yeah,
you actually get a butler service to your room and stuff.
I should hope so for the price. For that kind of money, I want picking up from my home.
They do that. They do.
All right. Okay. Fair.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, you get a nice little limo pick you up from outside your home. Although I struggle to see how it would get down Southend Road.
Carefully is the answer to that one. Very, very carefully, avoiding all potholes.
Oh my word! Anyway, Andy, you've got the next one, and this is going back to something that happened a few years back now.
Yes. This is from flightglobal.com, and it's the Egypt A320 crash. The title is Circumstances of Oxygen Leak and Ignition Source Remain Unclear. While French investigators believe an intense oxygen-fueled cockpit fire brought down an Egypt Airbus A320 8 years ago, they have yet to determine fully the reasons for the oxygen leak and pinpoint the source of ignition. Investigation authority, the BAA, has dismissed the Egyptian Air Accident Commission's official explanation, detonation of explosive material behind the cockpit, for the fatal 19th of May 2016 accident. But it acknowledges that, despite extensive tests, establishing the precise mechanism for the fire's initiation has not been possible. It's unable to state whether the oxygen leak or the fire came first. The BEA says, however, that the speed at which the blaze developed favours a hypothesis of internal damage to the first officer's oxygen system. It is theorised that a component failure, either in the first officer's oxygen mask storage box or the upstream distribution system, or perhaps the pressing of the emergency knob on the mask itself, triggered a flow of oxygen. The BA believes fire began in the first officer's oxygen mask storage box immediately to the right of the seat. While conducting studies into the ignition source, the BA learned about 3 recent in-flight oxygen leak incidents on the A320 family during 2022-23. Initial analysis of these incidents, it says, suggests faulty installation or adjustment of the regulator which could control the cockpit oxygen cylinder could cause overpressure of the oxygen system. Overpressure could lead oxygen mask regulators to fail, and a high-pressure leak could occur in one or all of the masks. The BEA points out that the first sign of oxygen flow during the accident came via the first officer's mask regulator. An initial hypothesis was that the mask knob had been depressed, but overpressure in the system could be another explanation, it states. BEA points out that the first officer's oxygen mask storage box was replaced 10 flights before the accident. It says a faulty regulator could be a common explanation for two unusual events: replacement of the storage box and the cockpit oxygen leak. It states that further analysis will be needed to examine whether the incident could generate new hypotheses for investigation. The BA's analysis also involved looking at several potential ignition sources, both internal and external to the mask storage box, to examine how the blaze began. It considered the effect of a lit cigarette, as well as the thermal runaway of a lithium battery-powered device such as a phone, placed in the proximity to the storage box. But the only external experiment which appeared to spark a rapidly spreading oxygen-fed fire was the introduction of a lit cigarette into the storage box, a scenario the BEA describes as unlikely but possible. If the ignition source was internal to the box, the BEA says, the oxygen hose could have been ruptured within a few seconds, causing a pressurized oxygen leak, which then fed the fire. The BEA examined whether such internal ignition could have resulted from electrostatic discharge, heat from oxidization of grease, or a metal particle contaminant introduced during maintenance, colliding under pressure with the oxygen distribution system. Testing did not enable investigators to reach conclusions on the source of the fire, and the BEA says additional work would be needed to establish conditions for spontaneous grease combustion or particle impact ignition. The Egyptian Commission leading the inquiry concluded that detonation of a device containing DNT and TNT-based explosives in the galley behind the cockpit started the fire, based on the apparent detection of explosive traces on casualties. But the BEA described the factual accuracy of the Commission's report as questionable, and argues that noises captured by the cockpit voice recorder are not consistent with such of an explosion. The cockpit area microphone, it says, would normally have picked up noise of an explosion in the galley, through structural transmission of the shockwave. Yet, the Commission's assumption of a TNT-based explosion is never questioned, BEA states, leading to an unrealistic scenario for the accident, one of which is incompatible with warnings, failures, and crew announcements. The report repeatedly mentions the presence of French experts concerning the discovery of TNT, it adds. We would like to emphasise that the French experts acted as advisors and observers and had neither the role nor the possibility of validating any findings concerning the presence of explosives on human remains. Well, there you go. It sounds like they've tested a lot of quite wacky theories, to be honest.
I mean, is it in any way? I mean, I guess it must be conceivable. Otherwise, you know, it wouldn't be appearing in this report. But I mean, is it all a bit far-fetched?
I don't know if they're clutching at straws. I mean, I really don't know. I'd agree with the French from what I've read as well, on this incident, that an explosion doesn't really match what was happening in the flight deck with all of the warnings that they were getting and stuff. Because if there'd been an explosion, then probably especially just behind the cockpit, the flight data recorders would have probably been cut off immediately, as most of the circuit breaker system is behind the galley. But I mean, they're obviously trying really hard to find the reason why this fire occurred. But they're coming up short still at the moment.
Yeah, I think they made an air crash investigation episode of this as well, which was a few years ago. Yeah.
Andy, do you think it's possible that there might be operators in certain parts of the world where smoking might be taking place in the cockpit?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah. Of course, in certain parts of the world, definitely. It's certainly nothing that happens in Europe and America anymore at all. I mean, that only recently have Airbus stopped fitting ashtrays for the pilots. We used to have an ashtray right next to the side stick, which was a great space to put your mobile phone. But now that's gone. The back of the seats, on the back of the seats for the observers behind, there are still ashtrays in the cover to remove to find the life jacket, and of course there have to be ashtrays in the toilets in case somebody is caught smoking, and you need to have somewhere proper to put it out.
True.
It is entirely conceivable then that it
Oh yeah,
potentially had been a discarded cigarette or a dropped cigarette, perhaps.
it could even I'm hypothesizing now, and it didn't really mention this in the report, but if there was a high pressure oxygen leak, firstly you wouldn't notice it because it's oxygen, great, body loves it, you'd probably wake up quite a bit. Then if you went to light a cigarette, the spark,
Right.
that could have caused a
That would
flash
do it.
fire, and then a fire from the oxygen system.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, it's just hypotheses. I don't have any more data than they've released.
Yeah. It sort of it raises the question again, doesn't it, about having cameras in the cockpit?
Yeah, the contentious issue of cameras in the flight deck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is
you
this
have-
the kind of thing that keeps you awake at night, Andy? Do you worry about stuff like this? Because this, ultimately,
No.
if it's maybe you could blame it on it being a sort of maintenance issue or a faulty part that's ultimately
The series of events that have got to occur for something like this to happen. Have you heard of the Swiss cheese model that we used to use?
Yeah.
All the holes have to line up, and it's many, 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 many holes for the event to occur. So the chances of it happening are so slim. If it did happen to me, well, my time's up, isn't it? It's game over. But the chances of it happening are so slim. It's like, why worry yourself to death? Just go and enjoy work. Go and enjoy flying.
Yeah.
good answer.
Yeah, I'm a pretty laid back guy in the worst of times normally.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's what makes you good as a pilot, I would argue, because you are with the best will in the world. At some point, you're going to come across something that's going to require a calm head, and if you flap like I do whenever time something goes wrong, then I am not the person you want anywhere near a cockpit at that moment.
Oh, that's it. Well, in fact, there's the old line which fits in perfect with this. When something does happen, just stop, take a breathe, light a cigarette, then have a look at the problem.
Boom!
It probably, in this situation, will make the situation a hell of a lot worse quite quickly.
Indeed.
But yeah, it's
But
all
then
about
you wouldn't be worrying about it, I suppose.
No, I quite often say, like, when we do the emergency brief for a rejected takeoff, I'll quite often say, like, right, stop the aircraft, set the parking brake, do all the other bits and pieces. Then I'm actually going to sit on my hands for a minute and just, like, not going to start touching stuff. Let's just have a breather, look around, see what's happening, because that's what you need to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
CRM.
So, yeah, captain's right, mate. Yep, that's correct. CRM.
Okay.
Oh, Andy, you're a card, you are, honestly. It's all about CRM.
My life flashed before my eyes then when you started doing it.
It's all about the acronyms. Aviation is all about acronyms. That's all it is.
Certainly is.
Yeah. Right. That brings the commercial news segment to a close this week. But up next, it's time for our retro airline ad of the week for some entertainment. One of Dirk's favourite parts of the show. This week, we go back to the 1980s again and take a look at an American-based airline that apparently is never late.
Airport, please. I got a 9 a.m. flight.
No problem.
Good.
What airline?
Alaska.
First time Alaska?
Yes, it is. But airlines never take off on time.
First time Alaska.
95 years on the road. Airlines never leave on time. I tell you, they never leave on time.
When Alaska Airlines says a flight will leave at 9 a.m., we do our best to make sure it does. So usually the only time you'll have to wait for a plane is when you miss one.
What's the world coming to?
Oh, wow.
There we go.
Wow. Where on earth did you find that? Oh my god!
Oh,
Goodness.
how good was that? And I'll tell you what, that taxi had some damn good suspension.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think of the aircraft at the end there, Andy?
Oh, 727-200, beautiful.
Oh dear, such a nerd, honestly.
Yeah, but that's a very amusing ad. Bit car based, but it obviously it is. Well, it had the aircraft at the end.
I think it was kind of helped to make the point. I think that was the object of the exercise.
Yeah,
Indeed.
the good old American yellow taxis.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Captain Cruz. Where's Captain Cruz in the chat? Let me pop that one up on the screen there.
He said Bob Marley smiling from the tail. Right. Okay. Yeah.
I suppose I've never thought about that, but if you look at the tail of the Alaskan Airlines, it does looks a little bit. Matt's gonna work his wizardry.
I'm going to try. There you go. Look.
Hey, he's right. You know,
He is right. I can see where that's coming from.
Yeah.
See, this is how rubbish I am, you see, because it's got those three silly engine things on the back there, then I think, try start.
Richard Adams is picked up on something else that hails back to a very popular film from the 80s as well. Can you see that one from Richard?
No.
No? Is it not? Come on, VMix Socials, where are you? There we go.
It reminds me of that cab in Airplane that gets left with the meter running.
The start of the film, so good.
Matt, have you watched it yet?
No.
Oh,
Goodness.
my word. I would
have
say
to
I'd buy it
stage
on
an
DVD,
intervention.
but that would be a waste of time because Matt doesn't
I
have a
don't
DVD
have a
player.
DVD player, no. I
No.
don't.
All right. Right, time to move on to the grey stuff for this week. And it's Nev's favourite part of the show. And unfortunately, as we found, Nev is not here this week to enjoy this part of the show. But I'm sure he'll watch this back with a glass of Pinot Grigio in his hand.
Right, okay.
Blast up buggies 13550, Angel 16, heading 340. Okay. Now undersea buggy.
And the first story this week in the military news, aerospaceglobalnews.com is the link for this one. Boeing accused of, am I reading this right, 7,943% markup on a C-17 soap dispenser. Pardon,
Wow.
Matt, you're right there.
Wow.
The US Department of Defense audit has highlighted discrepancies in the procurement costs of various C-17 spare parts, with a bathroom soap dispenser priced at more than 80 times the value of a commercially similar counterpart and contributing to an overpayment of nearly $1 million. I need to do the Austin Powers.
Wow. $1 million.
Boeing has allegedly overcharged the US Air Force for a variety of Boeing Globemaster C-17 parts. A US Department of Defense audit has highlighted, with around 26% of spare parts reviewed not supplied at fair and reasonable prices. A further 54% of parts were unable to be accurately assessed. Initiated in response to a DoD headline or hotline allegation, the DoD audit was launched to assess whether the Air Force purchased spare parts for C-17 military transport aircraft at fair and reasonable prices under the Performance-Based Logistics Contracts, or PBL. The Department of Defense Officer Inspector General DOG subsequently determined that the Air Force did not consistently pay reasonable prices for C-17 components, with around 26% of spare parts subject to excessive markups. These included the US Air Force's purchase of the replacement lavatory soap dispensers at more than 80 times the commercially available cost, or, as I said at the beginning of the story, a 7,943% markup. However, the DoD was unable to determine whether the US Air Force paid a fair and reasonable price for a further 54% of parts. This is attributed to lack of historical data and the inability of the Defense Contract Management Agency item group to obtain supply quotes or identify commercially similar parts. However, Of the total spare parts reviewed, valued at $4.3 million, the audit estimated that the Air Force overpaid nearly $1 million for a dozen different types of spare parts on their contracts. In the DoD's opinion, what this happened because the Air Force did not validate the accuracy of the data used for the contract negotiation and identify price increases during the execution of the contract or appropriately review invoices prior to payment. DoD Inspector General Robert Storch concluded that the Air Force needs to establish and implement a more effective internal controls to help prevent overpaying for spare parts for the remainder of the contract, which continues through to 2031. Additionally, he cautioned significant overpayments for spare parts may reduce the number of spare parts that Boeing can purchase on the contract, potentially reducing C-17 readiness worldwide. Although 275 C-17s are in operation around the world, the US Air Force is the largest type operator with 223 units located in 12 bases. In 2021, Brigadier General Darren Cole, Air Mobility Commander, Director of Logistics, Engineering and Force Protection, described the strategic airlift workhorse for the nation and under an extended C-17 sustainment partnership signed 3 years ago. Vice President and General Manager of U.S. Government Services for Boeing Global Services added that we are bending the costs curve on platforms like the C-17. Now, having looked at this particular soap dispenser that's in the picture with this story here, you could probably get one of those down at in the middle aisle at Lidl's for about £3.
Yeah. Does anybody have an email address for these guys? Because I've got a lot of kitchen sinks that I'm willing to sell for around £1,500 each.
So I've got some nuts and bolts they might be interested in.
I do love the job titles in the American military as well. Director of Logistics, Engineering and Force Protection. Ooh. I mean, that's quite a wide scope of a job there.
Andy, you are the pilot, cabin crew, engineer and lead technician for the airline.
Oh, God, don't let me be a technician. Wow. No. I'll stick to flying the things, thanks.
Lovely.
No, I know what you mean, though, Andy. It is a bit. They are a bit extravagant with their titles, but
yes.
I mean, the soap dispenser in question does look nice. I mean, it looks, like quite a nice soap dispenser, but
well, I think you only see the metal bit at the top. The rest is under the counter.
Yeah. Honestly, they get all the luxuries in these C-17s. Andy,
soap dispensers. Ooh,
soap dispensers. I know.
Do they not wear like white flying gloves like the RAF?
White? No, that would be like the brown leatherette gloves, like one drives his MG.
I think that was Michael Jackson you were thinking of there, Andy.
No, I'm sure flying gloves are white. Anyway, yes, next story is from simpleflying.com, and this is defective steel found to be reason behind deadly USAF CV-22B crash. In recent reporting by investigative journalism firm Hunterbrook, supported by the Air Current and Military.com reporting, Universal Stainless's failure to provide quality gears for the V-22 Osprey parts cost the lives of at least 8 USAF service members. Last August, Simply Flying reported on the August release of the United States Air Force Aircraft Accident Investigation Board report, which found. The report states that the crash was caused by a catastrophic failure of the left-hand prop rotor gearbox that created a rapidly cascading failure of the aircraft's drive system. This created an instantaneous asymmetric lift condition that proved unrecoverable. Quoting from the Accident Investigation Board report, failure of the left-hand PRGB, which is the prop rotor gearbox, high-speed planetary section, was most likely initiated by a crack in one of the high-speed pinion gear and fatigue cracking of the associated pinion gear's bearing cage, which eventually fractured through the high-speed planetary carrier assembly. At least one piece of the failed high-speed planetary pinion wedged in the high-speed carrier assembly, grinding against the high-speed sun gear's teeth until they were completely removed. The removal of the gear teeth prevented torque being applied to the left-hand mast. A subsequent Simple Flying story noted that the military.com reported issues stretching back to 2013 that went unaddressed throughout the Osprey family of variants. 16 V-22s of all variants have been damaged beyond repair in accidents, and 62 lives have been lost so far. The general public did not know about the serious issues at Universal Stainless, a company and subcontractor providing parts to the V22, such as steel making, the pinion gear that failed. An October 23rd report by 5 authors and 2 editors of Hunterbrook documented underlying issues at Universal Stainless. Among those issues found by a Hunterbrook review of open source intelligent and court records included discrimination, unsafe working conditions, and retaliation for whistleblowing. But most relevant to aviation is that Universal Stainless did not invest in quality equipment or maintain the manufacturing equipment on hand. As Ryan Smith, a former employee, shared with Hunterbrook, Universal Stainless only acted when a customer discovered a problem, like when Rolls-Royce in 2014 found an air pocket in the middle of a steel bar. The steel bar supposedly went through 10 departments of Universal Stainless. Additionally, the steel used by Universal Steel is refined by Dunkirk, a New York facility that uses equipment dating back to the 1950s or earlier, and the parts for the equipment are not readily available. These issues have caused less than the highest quality parts to be put in, partially according to the current reporting. A £3,780 drive system to rotate the V22's rotor, transmitting power from the Rolls-Royce engine with 7,000 shaft horsepower and provide speed reduction to drive the prop rotors. The parts and engines used in all variants of the V22s, so the risk from Universal Stainless parts goes beyond the US Air Force's variant. The V22 family has a serious problem grinding gears, but a remedy is in the works. The result of hard clutch engagement tragedies has included a clutch redesign. In May 2014, Swift 11's next of kin filed litigation. All V22 variants use the same engine and transmission, and the flight principles are the same for each V22 variant. Ultimately, the last word should go to Amber Sachs, the widow of the late US Marine V-22 pilot Captain John J. Sachs, who perished on the aforementioned Swift 11. Sachs, who is now a supportive watchdog of the V-22 Osprey program, plus CEO of the Captain Sachs Foundation, providing aviation scholarships, shared these thoughts with Simple Flying on the matter of defective parts making their way into the Osprey. Our military members and their loved ones deserve equipment and aircraft they can rely on, with the assurance that their safety is the top priority. We owe them no less. It's critical that we demand accountability and action. Manufacturers must prioritise lives over profit, and the American people should be outraged that these preventable issues persist and lives continue to be lost. I'm desperately urging others to speak up, reach out to your local representatives, demand answers, and call for changes that ensure our service members' safety is held above all else. Well, it sounds like there's some serious issues alleged serious issues at Universal Stainless that need sorting out.
Yeah, if you look at the, there's an image there that accompanies the story of one of the broken gears that goes into that planetary gear assembly. Yeah, it's a pretty obvious failure there of that, and you can see why that when that's failed, it's caused that drive system to become inoperable. So the huge forces that go through these pieces of metal,
they need to be super high quality. Any air inside is asking for a failure like this.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately it will come down to the specifying the correct hardness of the material in the first place, and then you would be looking at any additional treatments that would be given to that metal to give it a greater surface hardness. And yeah, it sounds to me as though either that specification hasn't been followed during the manufacture, or there wasn't a rigorous enough testing program that took place to verify that those parts were up to spec or were able to perform the job that was expected of them.
Yeah, anyone who's ever been up and close to V22, I mean, I've been very lucky indeed with a tour around from Armando, but anyone who's been close to a V22 will know how immense, huge the actual rotor blades are on here, and the amount of pressure that's put on these parts within these gearing and stuff, it must be phenomenal.
This is what weirdly makes me nervous about helicopters and things, though, because again, it's a similar sort of concern, isn't it? Like with a with a plane, if the unthinkable happens, then there's lots of things you can do to try and get speed off, to try and attempt some form of safe landing, for want of a better word, with one of these, and I still refer to them as magical machines made in Hogwarts. If you do get a failing like that, essentially it's just going to there's nothing you can do about it. It's just going to fall out of the air.
Yeah, the reality in this situation is that was a single component, a single source of failure, and that, as the article states, made the aircraft unrecoverable just due to a single component failure.
Yeah,
which is
I've flown some quite large helicopters in the past, and I agree with you, Matt. When I'm flying in a forward direction, it just feels like a conventional aircraft. But then when you put it into a hover, you suddenly realise there are hundreds of moving parts above your head that are beating gravity into submission.
Yes.
Whereas in an aircraft, I mean, it's not, because it is creating lift. But in a fixed-wing aircraft, you lose all engines. You still have physics and lift on your side. You just become a big glider. It may still end a bit messy, but it buys you a bit of time to try and sort it out.
Yeah, to try and find a solution, or point it in a direction, if nothing else, where casualties are at a minimum. Do you know what I mean? It's that sort of, which is just an awful, it's an awful thing. But they're amazing helicopters. I mean, they are, physics, just like don't make any sense, and yet they're amazing. But yeah, it's what's John Jester saying there? The results of us letting or steel manufacturing industry head offshore. I see, right?
Well, it said that these were manufactured in New York, John. So
true.
Even a lot of the items that we use for the company that I work for, we source a lot of our steel and aluminium from either in China or the US, when it could be easily purchased here in the UK, and it's purchased in the US and China because of cost, because it's a lot cheaper.
Well, ultimately,
we don't
matter
make it
where
anymore.
it comes from either. I mean, with the aerospace industry, as this is somebody that's worked in manufacturing industry for almost 30 years, there will be rigorous quality processes in place to make sure that these types of components are tested. And typically what you would find with a component of this nature is that there would be batch testing that's carried out. So, maybe if you make 100 of them, you'll test 5 of them, and that percentage will change depending on how complicated or how safety critical the part is. So there has either been, to my mind, this looks as though it's been either a failure of the quality system or a failure to adhere to the quality system.
Absolutely. And we can't, but there's no furnaces left in this country now. Carlos, can't make it here. Port Talbot closed.
Yeah, it did.
Well, perhaps we could make some rubber. No, I'm not going to say it. No, we get that from across the pond as well. Anyway, that brings us to a close for the military segment this week. We've got no caption this week, unfortunately. Very sorry. I will try and find a picture. But if you have got a humorous and funny picture, aviation related obviously, and you want to send it to us, you can find out details at the end of the show or where to send that to. Now, Nick, you want to plead to our listeners for something, don't you?
Yeah, well, on that subject, if anybody has any listener feedback, we'd love to get your emails. Send us any, if you see any good news stories that you think might be worthy of inclusion in the show, or if you want to tell us about an aviation story, maybe you've been flying, or you've done a trip, or you've seen a nice aircraft somewhere, send us in a story. You can send us an email, you can send us a video, you can send us a voice recording from your phone. It doesn't matter what it is, we would love to hear from you. So get yourself on the show.
Yes, we'd love to hear from you. And actually, Nick, on that subject, we want to try and hopefully next year, when the weather gets better again towards sort of springtime, try and arrange some more trips to Heathrow. I think we should do.
Yeah, definitely. It's something that I do fairly regularly anyway. So once the weather warms up a bit, we can try and organise a bit of a get together. We should probably also mention, shouldn't we, that the WhatsApp number still doesn't work, so people can't contact us that way, but they should contact us via email instead. The email address is
podcast@planetalkinguk.com is that email address. And on that subject, social media links, Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. Just search for Plane Talking UK. The email address, as Nick said, podcast@planetalkinguk.com. And the website where you can find out more details about us and hopefully find out soon more details about, I'm going to point that way because Andy's that side of the screen there. Find out more details on Andy. When we have a refresh of the website, we'll just need a lovely little picture of you, Andy, to go on there. And you can also find links on the website to find your mug if you fancy buying a PTUK mug. We've got those on there.
Christmas is just around the corner.
Christmas is just around the corner. We've also got the military grey mugs as well, which you can treat yourself to. I know Jonathan Warner's got one of those. And actually on that note, I need to order myself another PTUK mug. I better do that, put that through. I'll run it through.
Oh dear! Well, what have you done with yours? You had 4 at one point.
I know. I only had 2.
Okay.
Yeah, I only had 2, and one of those is at work, so I like to keep a stock here.
Very good. Yes.
But yes, you can find the links on there to find out more info about us, and you can also find out links on there as well to become a Patreon of the show as well. We're going to be doing shout-outs next week to all our Patreon donators as well, who look after us on the show. Thanks for that as well. So that is where we're going to start to wrap up the show. Going to do a quick little chat around with the team before we head off. Andy, hopefully you'll be back next week. Albeit in a hotel room.
No, yes, I will be back next week, but I will have to leave about half an hour early because then I'm in the sim. So I'll come for the first
Take
bit.
us with you. Take us with you.
I don't think that's how it works.
Unfortunately, it's my own sim check, so you're not.
Well, take us with you.
Oh, that would be
we would
amazing.
love to see that.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd pay money to see
I'm going to
that,
be
actually.
honest with you. I think that's a firm no, Carlos.
That is a firm no.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. We'll let you off. But yes, it'll be good to have you back again next week, Andy. Good to see you again. And Nick,
I'll
are
be
you going
here.
back next week?
Yeah, I should jolly well hope so, unless I'm down at Gatwick watching Andy crash a simulator.
Oh. And how are the two-wheeled beasts, Nick?
Yeah, good. Might try and get out at the weekend if it stays dry. I'm sort of trying to make the most of it at the moment because it's got into that time of year where it's all gone a bit grey and a bit murky. So
It really has.
yeah.
I haven't looked at the
Just a good
forecast for Saturday. Matt, we need to find that one out.
What's happening on Saturday?
No, I just wonder what the forecast is.
Oh,
for
I see.
Saturday.
Right. I'm sorry.
Well, for Nick's part of the country down in Devon,
You got Google, for goodness sake.
it's bound to be nice and it's bound to be glorious and sunny in Devon.
Well, I shall be
Yeah,
sure
usually
to
we
send
do.
a text message to Park Radio on Saturday morning. asking
Lovely.
for
Okay.
An update on the roads in Devon. So,
Okay.
yeah, I know that they're always very amenable over at Park Radio.
Yeah, absolutely. although, as I say, when I didn't know you were travelling this way, and of course it was just like because I think I was doing the breakfast show at the time, and it's just like, what's the A143 at such and such like?
Yeah.
It's like, oh hello, somebody's being funny. He's googled
Being funny,
it.
No, Matt. In all seriousness, you are off in is it a few weeks, 2 weeks time, 3 weeks time.
When do I fly? 24th.
So it's 3 weeks time, isn't it?
Yeah.
3 weeks time, something like that.
It's,
Anyway, you're off.
18 days. Yeah.
You're off. You're going on an aircraft. Obviously.
2 of them, in fact.
2 of them, in fact. Yeah, you're flying out on the A380 over to Dubai.
Is it,
which
or
is
no?
gonna be
Or is it the
awesome.
777 coming back? I think it's the other way around, isn't it?
Or, yeah, I think you're coming back on a 777. Out
No,
on
I
the
think I'm
380.
Oh, I thought it was the other way around. Okay, hang on.
Anyway, you're
chat amongst
flying.
yourselves. I'll look it up.
You're flying on the 380, and I'm guessing that you are very much looking forward to that. Your first trip on an Airbus A380. And the question is, have you
777, to be fair.
have you requested your seat yet?
I don't know.
Because you need to log in. You need to go on that glorious website, Seat Guru, and put in your
Right,
flight number and
okay.
stuff. And it'll tell you where the rubbishy seats are.
I don't know is the short answer. I'm not very good at this.
What, travelling thing?
Yeah, I'm not very good at that. I'm trying to. I'm trying to.
I will
trying
say
to find
one
the
thing.
email to answer your question.
The Emirates economy class is incredible. So you've got to look forward to that. Yeah, very nice.
So where are we? What have we got? I am going out on. It's EK004.
I'm sure that's a 380 EK004. Have a quick look on that.
I don't know. It doesn't say on the itinerary what the thing is. And I'm coming back on EK065. So I go out via Heathrow, and I come back via Stansted, or into Stansted, I should say. Anyway, yes, there we go.
EK004. Just having a quick look here to see if I can find where.
Okay, jolly good.
Oh yeah, that is a 380. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's a 380. Yeah. So you got.
I love how Carlos knows more about my flight than I do.
Yes. I remember I saved the details.
Thing.
Yeah, good.
I don't know if you've heard of it. It's quite good.
Is it right? Okay. Yes, indeed, and indeed.
No,
it's nice to know. It's nice to know that he's branched out on the things that he's looking at on the internet as well. I think that's exciting.
You're the one who revamped my PC for me.
Yes, and we don't tell them why we had to wipe it, Carlos, do we?
It's all the invoices for the aircraft parts.
That's quite absolutely trying to hide them from the wife. Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway,
that and the kitten pictures.
Yeah.
No,
it's a heady mix. I'm not going to lie.
Before we head off, just a quick note to everyone who's watching. Don't forget that this weekend is Remembrance Day. Obviously, Remembrance Day is on Monday, the 11th of November, and also Remembrance Sunday, this Sunday, the 10th of November. I went out last week and brought my little pin badge, Poppy, for this year, the 2024 Poppy badge, and there are plenty of places around the UK that are selling the pin badges, which you can get. They're awesome. They're so good. They're really nice collector's pieces as well. But this coming Sunday will be Remembrance Sunday, and obviously Remembrance Day will be on Monday, the 11th of November. Yeah, so don't forget that one.
Indeed.
Right, that's it then for the show. Thanks to everyone who's tuned in tonight. Been lovely to see you all in the chat room. Thank you to everyone in there. John Jester joined us as well there, all the way over from China. So thanks to that, John. And thanks to everyone who tuned in for tonight's show. Also, big thanks to all our iTunes audio downloaders, as well as all the other audio download platforms. Thanks to everyone who listens to us as an audio show. Don't forget, come and tune in on a Wednesday on YouTube. You can see the team in its glorious Technicolor. And I know Technicolor. But that's it. Have a great weekend. Great rest of the week. And don't forget to tune in next Wednesday at 7 p.m. here on YouTube for the next show. So, from me, Carlos, here in my new home studio, and from Matt in the Master Suite studios.
Who's going to bed as soon as this finishes to get over being in Carlos.
From Andy in his pub studio, and from Nick.
Which is still my favourite studio, by the way.
Just saying, the best studio.
I will absolutely do a show from there one day.
We will.
We will.
Yeah.
And from Nick in one of the best parts of the UK, down in Devon there. Thanks to you as well, Nick, for all your work. And we'll be back next week. Take care, everyone. Say goodbye, Nick.
Goodbye, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. See you next week.
Our boys have this. Well, I say both boys. Nigel has this uncanny habit now that he knows where we are in the bed at night asleep, and he knows that he has access to the bedroom. So that means that every night he comes and sleeps on the bed with us.
Hello. Yes.
And Dave, no.
And I have to confess, I maybe had a little cuddle of the kiddies yesterday.
He did.
I did.
Yeah, he did.
It's soppy. It's possibly soppy. Yes, very much so. I may. I love that. It's just like, while he's busy getting a pint, he's shouting across the. Love it. What was this against? I've lost.
Yeah, they have had their first trip to the vets today.
Oh,
Gemma took them for their first jabs.
Love
and the vets were very impressed with how they were in the vets. Apparently Dave laid on the counter and just sort of started to nod off.
Oh.
And Nigel just couldn't really sort of give him monkeys, and they both got their jabs and then walked back into the cat carrier and then came home.
As you do.
The vet was astounded because she said that normally cats tend to rip your arms off the minute you get a needle near them. But
yeah, they're quite chill, aren't they?
They are very, very chilled boys.
Yeah. What, they're named after David Cameron and Nigel Farage, aren't they?
That'll be it, yep.
I
was going to say BA captains, but anyway, it's just like...
No.
I feel like that's where it's...
Cheers.
It amuses the heck out of the vets every time we go because they love the fact that we call them Dave and Nigel. Absolutely love it.
I do get that. Yes, I am trying to download what you've sent me, Carlos. So,
okay.
Amuse yourselves for a little while.
So Dave is weighing in at 2.5 kilos now. Nigel is at 2 kilos. Oh. So Nigel's got a bit of catching up to do. And in 3 weeks' time, both boys are going in to have a certain procedure that boy gets.
Oh no!
You horrible person.
Yes.
Oh dear.
And if you saw Dave, you would understand it's a big job.
I'll do it for 25 quid with a pair of bricks.
Oh, Nick.
I've got so many images in my head, none of which are suitable for what we're doing.
Yes, so that'll be an interesting time. I don't doubt.
I bet. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Indeed.
But yeah, it was nice to watch the takeoffs from the last, or those two retiring 7.5s, and we've got an open invite actually from the Airliners Live guys to go up to Manchester and have a session with them.
For that. Has anyone seen there was a thing today? It was a retiring TUI 767. That took off from Amsterdam, and it did a really impressive wing wave as it took off.
Oh wow!
Have you seen it online? It's worth having a little look for it because it's quite an impressive manoeuvre as it takes off. It gives a very good rock.
I'd imagine they were probably the ex-Britannia 76s because a lot of the ex-Britannia 767s went into the TUI fleet, and they were still using them.
On the British side, and we retired them. Well, the TUI UK retired them quite a few years back now. All the ones in TUI AG weren't Britannia ones.
Oh, weren't they?
No.
Still sad when you see them being retired. I think the 7.5s that Jet2 retired this week. I think both of those are being scrapped. Unfortunately, I don't think they're
surprising,
being
doesn't it?
converted
You'd think
into
they'd get used for cargo or something, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
it's 32 years old, though. It probably doesn't have many
32.
cycles left on the
That's fair.
fuselage.
Yeah, that's a good age, isn't it?
Very true. Very true.
Actually, Andy, on the note of aircraft, one of our engineers is going out to the States next week with Virgin on the 330-900.
Okay, yeah, nice.
Yeah. I was a little bit jealous because that is the Neo in the Neo. Yeah,
it is.
Yeah,
indeed.
So new they don't even have a seat plan on SeatGuru.com, which is unfortunate.
Here we go. Look,
there we go. That's the new studio where I am now.
It looks like you work in some form of trendy office in London now.
Indeed.
It does actually. Someone said at work the other day that the brick wall does give it that kind of.
No, it really does.
Nice.
It looks.
I've got a little bit of screen envy. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, that's the reason why when we were sharing the call earlier, Andy, why you couldn't see a thing, because have you seen the size of that?
That's ridiculous, that screen. Absolutely ridiculous.
What's the little mini screen underneath, Carlos?
That's the Alexa.
Oh, quick! Nobody say.
Hold on, let me turn that off.
Nobody say studio off.
That's the A word thing.
Yeah.
Now on the big screen, which is on the left of that picture, the actual TV, which is what that is. That'll be the flight sim side of the
Okay,
room.
so you're going to get all the controls. And
all the
everything
controls
set
will
up
be set up in here properly.
there.
Not
So you
not
can
all-
leave it all permanently set up.
Yeah.
Then.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
That's what the intention is with that. And it's also good at playing because Matt has configured, so everything runs through the mixer that is to the left of that monitor. So Matt has configured it so I can, when I'm watching, as I was watching on there, I think it was Dave Pearce. Was it Dave Pearce? No, Pete
It was
Tong. Pete Tong.
some
Radio
dancey
1, Pete
thing,
Tong,
yeah.
I can have it running through the sound system speakers. There's a sub and stuff in here which you can play it through. And then I can control various aspects of the audio through the mixer. So
We've
it's
got a
quite
good comment from Richard Adams in the chat. Alexa, buy a 2E767. Has she done anything?
No, because I've turned the microphone off on this one.
Spoiled all my fun.
I know.
Actually, now you said that, I might have a look on the old Plane Reclaimers website and see if they've.
See if there are any 7.5 bits coming up yet.
Oh, they've got 7.5 bits in there now. They've got a co-pilot.
Oh my
yoke.
goodness! Actually, I was just thinking. Right, so that's Dave and Nigel now, by the way.
Oh, yes.
And of course, when you first got them, there was another picture that you sent us, which was this one. How much have they grown
yes.
in that
Yeah, they've
short
grown loads.
time, haven't they?
Yeah.
Goodness,
Yeah, they
look at
certainly
that.
have. Yeah, they've moved off the Royal Canin cat food now, which was about £6.5 million a sachet. They're now on IAMS now, which is less bank busting.
Okay, right. Okay.
Yeah.
You're right there, Andy.
I forget Andy's a dog man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Literally couldn't care less.
But I will say, Carlos, it's not a yoke, it's a control column.
All right, control column. Okay. All right, Andy.
Love that. Actually, that picture you've sent me there, Carlos, is different because you have tweaked the configuration since, haven't you? That's not quite because there's another new edition already, isn't there?
Oh, hold on. I'll send a picture now while I'm here.
Okay, all right.
Live.
Oh, here we go. Oh,
Hold on.
God, you're putting a lot of pressure on my ability to download stuff. Yeah. Yeah, he's complaining about his internet speeds in there, by the way. He's only got 30 down and 30 up.
Yeah, that's awful. That's like what that's like what you get on the Vodafone network if you're lucky.
Yeah, but that's like 30 down and 30 up, as in it's the same down as it is up.
Yeah, but just think when I put the hardwire in, it's going to be like 600 down. And...
I think you're utterly mad because you're not going to use it. You're not going to use it.
Yeah, but it's just nice.
You're going to make a mess of your house for something that's going to make almost little difference to your actual day-to-day usage of the studio.
Dirk Guest says he's allergic to cats.
Is he? Oh, no.
Well, you'd be no good here, Dirk. Well, in here you would, because the boys haven't been in here
They're
yet.
not allowed outside yet. No.
No, they're... Oh, blimey, I'm debating whether ever let them out,
Ever
to be
let
fair.
them out. No, that's fair. Yeah.
No, they've got no bits on there yet. They have got some of Alpha Bravo's skin squares in here. The Jet 2, one of the first Jet 2s they retired to 75s. The one that is all silver, Andy? The one that had your whole silver fuselage?
Yeah, they had 19 windows for sale of that as well.
Oh,
they've
nice.
They've got no windows left now. They must have sold all those.
Good job. Stop you buying them.
Yeah. True.
Oi.
True that.
Oh, there's a sail bar. What's on the sail?
Uh-oh. That sounds worrying.
Have you thought about getting one of these aircraft seat chairs?
Yeah.
No, not at how much they are. I've seen how much they are. They're a little bit
Hey, Nick.
expensive.
Nick, the A320 pylon fairings were 199. They're now 99.
99 quid.
You said you wanted one of them, Nick.
Unfortunately, he's not at his desk.
Oh.
So save that for when he comes back.
I mean, what? Right? Why would you buy an A340 cockpit sliding window? Just the sliding window unit for 700.
There he is.
knots?
Look, here he comes back. You can tell him
Nick.
again now. Yeah.
Nick.
Hang on, his headphones aren't in yet. He's nearly there.
Nick.
There we go.
Nick.
Nick.
Hello.
Right. You know, you said you really fancied one of those A320 pylons, fairings.
Yeah.
But they were 200 quid. They're only 100 quid now.
I know.
Oh, hello.
Yes. They. There might be some credit card bashing going on.
Oh, no.
Oh, do it.
They look quite big.
Just don't know what I'm going to do with them. They look really nice, but I don't know where
What?
they'll go.
Quite big. They're massive.
Right, I don't get it. 100%, I don't get
Well,
it. I do get it. But so
82
Nick,
centimetres long, what's
you
that?
are, you love your stuff.
32 inches.
Explain to me why that gets you so excited.
They look cool.
I mean,
They
polished.
look like
they would look
yeah.
awesome.
Well, it's like my bathroom mirror is an A320 window frame, and it's it's just there's something nice about the
No, I
engineering.
get that.
of them,
I get that
and
because it's
kind of
because it's functional and it it's I
it's
get
got
that.
that kind of industrial aesthetic to it, and
Okay.
I don't know, and the fact that it has been a functional item from a flown aircraft lends it a certain amount of coolness, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think so. I've long been after the APU exhaust from a A320 because I think that would be really cool to repurpose as a lamp.
Yeah.
I have actually recently also seen an emergency exit door from a 737 that somebody's repurposed into a table.
Actually, does anybody know? Does anybody know where I can get? Well, my exit sign in here, Carlos. It was from a 747, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
Yeah. Anybody know where I can get the bulbs from?
Oh, I didn't. I brought a battery-powered LED pack.
No,
from
I
Amazon.
don't. You see, I don't. I want to keep the genuine bulbs in it.
Oh, I did. I put them around the outside edge. So
No.
no.
But I mean, on my one, I don't know if I can make it work. But I've got all the. So it's the original bulbs that light up inside my sign, and some of them have gone, and I want to put that right.
Might be worth seeing if you can buy LED replacement ones. I don't know if they might be the same as an automotive
But
style.
it'll be the wrong colour.
Yeah.
And I like the
You
the
like
fact that it's
the
come
kind of
from a
slightly
retro.
orangey-
Well, it's the retro element to
Yeah,
it. It's
yeah.
and it is literally over the exit door to the studio, which I just like, and I'm not excitable about stuff like this. So it's quite
It's quite nice because it has an actual function in that instance, doesn't it?
yeah, indeed. I'm
Yeah.
gonna in fact.
I love it. I love it that you can go on here and purchase your own stick shaker.
A what now? I don't even know what to do with that information.
I found something else here, right? There's a first officer seat cover. It's clearly an Airbus first officer seat cover. It's £229. Why would you want that? I mean, it's a seat cover, right? You know what happens when pilots sit down on seats for a very long period of time. There's sweat
I know
and
what
there's
happens.
smells.
I can say I know what happens if you're in the same room as Carlos for only 3 minutes. It's
I mean, the edges of this are brown as well.
Yeah, don't pull me that face, Carlos, because it goes something along the lines of.
Yeah, and why would you pay £229 for that bit of cloth?
I'm surprised that Matt Smith didn't purchase the aircraft coffee machine that I put in the group chat.
I'm surprised
the
it
other day.
didn't pass out last night. I'm not going to lie.
That was quite cool. I wouldn't know how to wire it up though.
I tell you what, they have got on the site for £1,699.99 a radome from a 737. Now that would look pretty damn cool in the garden.
Just too
No?
big.
So, who needs gardens anyway?
Oh,
There you go.
Oh, I've just found something
there
I
we
am
go.
tempted to buy.
Can you see what I mean though? Because there's some bulbs on the outer edge and they've all gone.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
Yeah, it wouldn't look as good with LEDs, would it?
I don't
it
think so.
does-
I think it would
does
lose-
suit the fact that it's got to have a proper,
Yeah.
dare I say, incandescent bulb.
Correct. Very good. Because it's only 6 volts anyway. It's all only 6 volts. But
I've just found the nose doors off an aircraft that I've flown on there.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh.
How does that make you feel, though? Is it just like does it leave you with nothing, or is it just like okay?
This one in particular was one of my favourites to fly.
Okay.
And it's only 150 quid.
Oh!
I think the pub studio is about to get a new edition.
I think it would look quite good.
It would look nice. I think it would look very nice there.
I think it would look fabulous, in fact, especially nicely lit.
Is it about that big?
Is it?
That'd be perfect.
I think that would fill that rather dead and uninteresting space quite nicely.
Oh, or do I put it? Or do I put it on the wall? Hang on. Do I put it on the wall over there near the bar next to the telly?
That would look quite smart.
It would look quite nice near the TV and stuff. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Could even cover that main socket.
I think.
Wouldn't it?
I think I'm maybe purchasing something right now.
Lovely. Okay, we look forward to that on, well, not next week's show because you're in a hotel, but we'll be asking for updates without question.
Oh, yeah. Add to basket. Click.
I kind of feel pressured now that I should make a purchase like this.
No, I think you've spent enough this week. Yeah, you've spent enough this week, Carlos. I think your bank will be very relieved if you don't.
Only £100 each, you say, Andy?
£149.
No, I was thinking back to those pylon covers.
Oh, yeah. Crack on, mate.
I don't.
Oh, it's this door's still dirty as well. It's still covered in grime.
Oh, is that a 20 or a 19?
Is that a good thing? I'm very confused.
It is with that reg. It's a 19.
Oh, okay.
I don't get it.
But do you see, for me, this is an aircraft that I've flown.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I totally get that. I totally.
It's got a bit of
memories, provenance. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it means something pretty cool. To be fair, yeah, nice.
There's loads of them on there, Andy.
Oh dear. Okay, I think we should bring this call to a close now.
I can see if work gets a bit quiet tomorrow, I might be going on the internet.
Why did I go on this website?
I know Carlos is.
It's awful.
I'm going to be honest with you. Carlos is a terribly bad influence on all of us.
Oh no! Sorry, chat room.
Yeah,
I'm a bad
Andy, I
influence
think
on
your
everyone.
beer glass has got a hole in it, mate.
It's disappearing quickly. Isn't it?
Yeah. He's a bit stressed about the things he's about to purchase. That's why.
Just had a very thirsty purchase.
Just
experience.
thinking about how to pitch it to the wife.
Right. Okay. I mean, does she go in there very often? I mean, like, would she notice?
She
would
the nice
notice.
glow from the lovely holiday you've just had.
Easy way of doing it, Andy. Just tell her Carlos pressured me into it.
Oh yeah, that's gonna work, isn't it, mate?
Yeah. That won't be in any way. Okay, sure.
It is in my it is in the basket now, though, and I am going to purchase it.
Are you?
Yes. Yes. Carlos, your work here is done.
Yes,
My work is done.
I swear he's on commission. Just say, is it Plane Reclaimers or somewhere else?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah, he's on a commission, definitely.
Well, I still do keep in contact with Andrew Keegan, who we had on the show. So,
well, you better contact him and tell him to expedite it because we maybe knock a bit off because we were talking about it for a whole 25 minutes after the podcast.
Oh yeah, if I can have a 10% discount on it as well, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, that'll really help sell it to the wife, I'm sure.
we need to get Andy. We need to get Andy his own PTUK email address so he can use that to buy it through.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, I won't buy it yet then.
All right, hang on. Sorry, I'm on it. 1 second, caller, please hold.
Cool. Right, should we let these people go about their?
Yeah, we'll let these people go. Thanks to all the YouTube chat room. Thanks for hanging in with us for the after show chat. I'm sure you all enjoyed it. Yeah, big thanks to all the team as well for this week. And yeah, have a great rest of the week, whatever you're up to. And don't forget to join us all back here again next Wednesday. Well, most of us anyway, will be back here hopefully next week. And yeah, and say goodbye, or say the final words this week from Andy. Go on, Andy, say goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody. Thanks for joining us. See you next week.